Both Azure Dragons and Super Archer Clone Blimps are strong in Clash of Clans at the moment, so if we combine the two of them, is it going to be ridiculously OP or surprisingly terrible? I am sorry if I overused this base in the blueprint videos, but it is a common toxic base that I struggled with for ages, so I figure it's the perfect one to put in this video. Super Archer Clone Blimp comes in. We don't use the Warden ability, as we talked about in our recent Super Archer Clone videos. You know that is a no-no, and have a look at the value we're going to get here. Now, we did go straight into a Poison Tower, but if you watch back quickly, you notice the Poison Tower, it jiggles its neck before it shoots off the Poison spell, and as long as you drop the Blimp as soon as it jiggles, you're going to be okay. It won't quite set off, and I mean, look at that value. Holy value, that is insane. So I'm going to pull the troops out here, but one thing about the Azure Dragons is you don't want too tight a funnel. A tight funnel is bad for them. So this base presents kind of an awkward outcome for us because I want to put the Azure Dragons on the left side here, but if I use the heroes to funnel, it would be far too narrow. So what are we going to do? Well, I'm going to put my heroes and they're going to go to the right side of the base. You saw I put the wall breaker over there. We're going to use the Azure Dragons by themselves on the left side. They don't need the heroes. This is the perfect width of a funnel. Any more narrow and it would be wasted. Now you'll notice I am bringing the Rage Gem with this. I did talk on our last Azure Dragon video how the Rage Gem with Azure Dragons is bad. This is the only case where I'd recommend bringing the Rage Gem. Now, I did try the Healing Tome, but when you've got no Rage spells at all, the Azure Dragons just don't do enough DPS, so the Rage Gem was required. Unfortunately, the RC goes inside here. I didn't want her to go into the core of the base. I wanted her to get the multi and maybe help my heroes out, but this is already pretty wrecked. In saying that, this hit goes from extremely wrecked to kind of close in a couple of seconds, because look at this. The Azure Dragons, following the skeletons that the RC pulled, go into the NATO, get wrecked by air bombs, but it doesn't really matter. The Queen has still got her ability. We're running the Frozen Arrow with her, and we get that base down nice and easily. So we're off to a good start. So surely this army can't be trash, right? Right? A toxic box base. In saying that, I think I say toxic about every box base, and as box bases go, this isn't that toxic, but I mean, I hate hitting box bases. I don't know about you guys. So we're gonna come in on a corner. We've done this in the past with the Super Archer Clone Hydra videos I've done. So why not give it a go? So we're going to come in on the corner, heroes on the top side to funnel it in, and we're going straight into a sweeper. We'll freeze the sweeper the second time around. That's looking good, and look at how far the Blimp makes it. Thankfully, the second spell tower on this base is an invis tower, not a Poison Tower, because then that wouldn't have worked as well. But still, now we're going with the Super Archer Clone Blimp. Now, I am trying to show you what the Azure Dragons are doing during this, but obviously, Super Archer Clone Blimp is a little bit intensive. I put the RC down on the bottom side, and look at the value the Super Archer Clone Blimp got. Simply ridiculous. Cleared out the whole base. The Ice Golem CC went to the top. Our heroes are just finishing dealing with that now. RC's helping out these Azure Dragons, doing their best. The Fox is so OP. Yet again, running the Phoenix with the Warden, just so those chains from the Azure Dragons are as good as possible. But feel free to run the Owl if you want to use the Phoenix on the King. But I really like the Frosty on the King when he's running around the edge of the base like this. When you've got Frosty and the King and the Frozen Arrow on the Queen, it does a lot of freezing to the nearby defenses, swagging the King and Queen ability. I mean, so far so good, right? So far so good. So I mean, this army has to be OP. Or does it? Because there's something we need to talk about. For those who follow the channel, you'll know recently we put 2 videos on what not to do with Super Archer Clone Blimps, and that was don't use the Warden ability with it, like I did in the last attack. So you're probably a little bit confused, like, why is Hook doing this? He's told us not to, and then he does it. That's a little bit hypocritical. Well, I want to show you something. So this is an attack I did on this base. I'm sure you all recognize it as well. And look at the value I get from this Super Archer Clone Blimp. And I didn't use my Warden ability at all. I wish I got the Poison Tower instead of targeting the Defensive King, but we do activate. I mean, that is insane value, considering we didn't use the Warden ability with that as well. Couldn't really ask for any more value. And now we've got a pretty good funnel set up. King and Queen are going to go in and get rid of this defensive monolith. And the Azure Dragons will deal with the RC, and then they're going to go into the core of the base. So, I mean, it should be good, right? This should work. Guess we'll find out in a second. So, King on the bottom side, I'll place my Queen in a second. I do slightly play her too early, because you're going to notice this Ricochet Cannon wrecks her, takes a lot of her life, but that's alright. King's tanking the Monolith, not preferred, but I'd rather the King tank it than the Azure Dragons. Now, we are going into a sweeper here, but we went into a sweeper in the last attack, and that wasn't the end of the world for the Azure Dragons, so we popped the Warden ability, and here is where the problem starts. The Azure Dragons cannot deal with any poison effect. Any, whether it be poison towers or the Town Hall poison effect. Look at them. They are so slow. Now, if you have a bunch of Rages and Freezes, you can make this work, but look at the army. It has come to a standstill. Think of in the last attack, when we did the YOLO Blimp, the Poison Tower didn't shoot at the Azure Drags. It shot at my Invincible Blimp. So this got me thinking, and I had to try it again. Same exact base, but we are now going to do the YOLO Blimp. So the old school way of doing it. And the way that's honestly not as effective because it is so risky, and we'll see if this works. Last attack, I did everything right by the book and it didn't work, so we'll try it not by the book. So we pop the Warden ability, Sweeper shoots once. I'm not freezing the Sweeper again until the Poison Tower shoots. So notice, the Poison Tower shoots, but it's not shooting at the Azure Dragons. I open the Blimp in the core of the base so that the other Poison Tower doesn't go off, sorry. Now we Super Archer Clone Blimp in the core. How are our Azure Drags going? Yeah, they're going fine. They are going fine. They're not in a poison effect at this point in time. And they're slowly chilling on the back end. The Super Archer Clone Blimp is doing so much work. The Queen's dealing with the Ice Golems on the bottom side. We get rid of that Scatter, which is huge because now our Queen's chilling on that side. And look at how much better this attack's gone. I've still got my Royal Champion. Yes, there's a Town Hall up, but it's only really the Town Hall. And as long as we get that, the rest will fall. So that right there is the sad nature of this army. The Azure Dragons cannot fight the poison effect, so you can't send them through the Town Hall. You can't send them through a Poison Tower. You can't send them through everything. The Blimp has to do everything, and for the Blimp to do that, either you need what I had in the first attack, which is an insanely lucky Super Archer Clone Blimp, or you need to Warden Blimp. And don't get me wrong, the Warden blimping like that is extremely effective. It's what we used to do with Super Archer Clone Hydra. But in this meta at Town Hall 16 at the moment, where it's a bit easier to triple, why take such big risks on all or nothing plays? Why not do Super Archer Root Riders where it is a much safer triple? So I picked this base and I said I am not doing a Warden Blimp and I'm not Super Archer in the Town Hall, and I wanted to see if it was possible to get the 3-star. I see the Teslas spawn on the outside of the base, and I know the NATO's in between the Monolith and the Builder Hut because it's the most obvious NATO. I know a lot of you will say, oh, Hooked, you've FC'd this base a bunch. Like, that's clearly why you knew it was there. No, I've just got a brain. I knew that it would be there. It was so obvious when the Tesla farm appeared there. Now, I'm going to say something else that maybe contradicts what I just said. I said I will not stop doing this crack until I triple. This is attempt 13 to 15. I tried about 3 different entries on this. I never found the NATO with the Super Archer Clone Blimp, as you see right there. But I said I will not stop until I get it. I wanted to see if it was possible. Let's find out if it was. I love the Azure Dragons. I mean, look at that. That is such a nice funnel. Now, anything I say in today's video is not to say that the Azure Dragon is a bad troop. It's still a really good troop, but it requires spells. And that's something that you don't have in this army. It also is so much better with the healing tome. So, I don't really blame the Azure Dragons for this. It's kind of a cool mechanic to think of that you have a troop that's really good in the air, but it requires spells. But those Hydra attacks that we got at Town Hall 15 where you could either spam them with heaps of spells and triple, or you could do Super Archer Clone and use no spells and still triple. It was a little too spammy, but you do need to think about this and have a look. I've done everything in my power to try and get the Town Hall down with the Azure Dragons. It just doesn't happen. They died before it, so I have to use the RC to help with the Town Hall. The King and Queen come on the bottom side once the CC building goes down, because I don't want to pull the Ice Golems out of that. Queen's doing her best. By the way, that scatter shot has 1 HP. Jeez, 1 HP. It is hanging on for dear life. Queen is going to go around. Oh, I feel like it's time for another reveal. The hero equipment in today's video, it's all been max. Like level 27 Frozen Arrow and Giant Gauntlet max. And still, it takes me half an hour to triple this base. That box space I showed before, where the 2 approaches we did, one which worked and one which didn't, that took 30 minutes as well. The four bases in this video took me an hour and 15 minutes of recording to get them all down. Now, I'm not the best attacker in the world. We all know that. But if I was doing other Super Archer armies, I would get down the bases within an hour easily. But not anymore. And in case you haven't noticed, I'm not going to get this base down either. I had to give up. This was as close as I can get. And I think that says it all. So don't get me wrong. If you can get awesome Super Archer clone value, this army will work. But why would you use this army if you can use Hydra or Root Riders instead?